Let us look at the fifth recording. Again, scrolling in the table, click on 5.1. I'm going to maximize the window over here. This is where we have nice sharp action potentials, but we had significant movement of the needle. You can see the amplitude change over here as the needle moved. The window positions are satisfactory, halfway between the baseline and the peak. If I wanted, I could move this window, bring it similar, but this is such a sharp potential that's absolutely not necessary. You will also recognize right away in this screen that we have two traces in blue color. They have been excluded by the system automatically from analysis. Let me go to the distribution of interpotential intervals. To me, this is the most important control in this software. There used to be a time when we used to go trace by trace and get rid of them. Looking at the distribution of interpotential intervals is a faster way. And we can see a nice tight distribution over here, and there were two traces that were thrown out because of a very short interpotential interval. Let's look at the traces over here, and here are the traces with two short interpotential intervals. You will notice that they had low amplitude, so probably our trigger point changed and it produced the short intervals. So again, I emphasize, always look at the distribution of interpotential intervals and edit the distribution by using the boxes provided in that window rather than doing trace by trace. The jitter in this case is 18 microseconds. Now it is argued that when we have a change in the amplitude, using level trigger may overestimate the jitter. So we have a control to change our jitter measurements. Our default setting is level. I can click on the F12 function key to make it a peak-based jitter measurement. So I'm going to click on F12 over here. And in this case now, the program looks for the level crossing first, and then it finds the peak coming afterwards. And the same thing will happen for the second window. The results are recalculated, and in this instance you notice that these two potentials with small window, rather small amplitude, were not excluded. When we look at the distribution of interpotential intervals, notice that we do not have any short time intervals. And again, this occurred because of peak to detect the interpotential intervals rather than level crossing. In this particular case, the jitter with peak is 19. If I were to use the level, it is 18. It is not significantly different. You can use any measurement. The point I'm trying to make is, as we analyze the jitter, you can choose whether you want to do level triggering or peak triggering, or you can use both modalities and just decide whichever jitter value is low for analysis. So we have quite a lot of flexibility in terms of jitter measurement technique.